Ramadan is about to start. I thought it'd be a good opportunity to update your viewers, to update constituents in Ilford South about the work I've been doing, but also specifically today. Today the Metropolitan Police have come under huge criticism. The Casey review by Baroness Casey has been revealed. She's made some very powerful recommendations. I'm going to be speaking in Parliament in the next hour or so about this. I'm going to be hopefully questioning the Home Secretary about these commitments. And this is particularly important to our community in Ilford South. We've suffered far too many murders, far too much knife crime since I've become the Member of Parliament. Things have felt for many people that they've got worse. You know, I regularly meet our local police officers. In fact, I've met both the Met Commissioner, who's the most powerful police officer in the Metropolitan Police, who's the leader, as well as our local superintendent and chief inspectors, all in the past few weeks. But this report is absolutely damning because it talks about the institutional racism, misogyny and homophobia endemic throughout the Metropolitan Police. We in Ilford have also suffered some very horrendous crimes, in particular the murder of Zara Alina. That put a lot of fear into many people in my community. And so I wanted to update people about the work I've been doing on that as well. On this day when there is a huge focus on the Metropolitan Police, I met with the Deputy Prime Minister, with Zara's aunt, just a couple of weeks ago. We had a very constructive meeting, and we had a number of demands in that meeting. And you know, one of the things which I think is incredibly important to say is we were successful in getting one of our biggest demands, and that is that anyone that's committed a heinous crime, rapes, murders, crimes of a very serious level, will not be able to stay in the cells. They will instead have to come to the dock, come to the court, face the jury, face the judge, face the victim's family. The Deputy Prime Minister committed to that publicly after that meeting. He also committed to ensuring that the HMI Inspectorate of Probation 10 recommendations would also be followed. And so I think that that's important that people know that we are keeping the pressure up, and today we'll be continuing to do that because we need a police service that's absolutely fit and trusted, most importantly trusted, to do the job properly for the constituents I have in Ilford South. The other thing that I wanted to update, because I've had an awful lot of correspondence from people in Ilford South who are very frightened, is what's happened with the so-called small boats bill, the illegal migration bill. Ilford South is over 80% ethnic minority. We have over 50% of our community that were not born in the UK, they're first-generation migrants. We have thousands of people that are asylum seekers and refugees, often fleeing persecution, fleeing torture, fleeing war, fleeing all kinds of horrendous situations around the world. Take, for example, our local Afghanistan community. My office is still working on around 400 cases of Afghan nationals who have family here in Britain, who really should be here in the UK, because our country was responsible for the Afghanistan war. And these people were often working for NGOs, for the British Army, for organisations linked with our country. And so we have a responsibility to get them to safety. And unfortunately, I have to say, because of the government's inaction, some of those people have been murdered by the Taliban in the intervening time. And we know full well that it's totally possible for the government to bring people to the UK when they decide to do so, because we are now hosting many thousands of people from the Ukraine who are fleeing the war there. It shouldn't be one rule for Ukrainians and a different one for Afghans. It should be the same and the same pathways. Turning to the small boats, nobody wants to see small boats in the Channel. Many people are dying and losing their lives. It's horrendous and people are rightly concerned about it, and it does need to be stopped. But the way to stop it is not to increase the racist rhetoric of the government. It's not to demonise migrants. It's not to sound like UKIP or the British National Party. The way to do it is actually to treat people with compassion. We should have a direct negotiation and a direct strategy of dealing with people who want to come to the UK UK from Albania, because actually I think a safe and legal pathway there, when actually we have jobs that need filling in this country, would be a much more sensible approach. And those people that are fleeing war-torn or dangerous parts of the world and feeling the only way they can get to the UK, then we need a better solution that has a legal pathway for those people to reach the UK, not one where they have to risk their lives. Because I want Britain, as it should be, and throughout its history in the last 100 years, to have been a place where people who have fled some of the most horrendous things that have happened, some of the most horrendous wars around the world, should be able to seek asylum or refugee status here in the UK and should not be demonised for doing so.